Spoilers ahead. Centuries ago, the first king of Aurea led a daring attack on the dragon's lair. Despite their bravery, all the men perished in the battle, leaving the king at the mercy of the fearsome dragon. In the present day, Elodie, the daughter of Lord Bayford, finds herself entwined in the legacy of Aurea. A proposal from the wealthy kingdom offers a chance for prosperity, and Elodie, along with her family, sets sail for Aurea. Upon their arrival, they are greeted by the sight of dragon statues illuminating their path. Welcomed by servants, they are ushered into luxurious quarters within the grand castle. As night falls, Elodie goes to the balcony, gazing out at the torchlit mountain in the distance. The flickering flames evoke a sense of both wonder and apprehension, hinting at the mysteries that lie ahead. Elodie's sister Floria joins her on the balcony, unable to sleep. They share a moment, reminiscing about their mother. Floria offers words of encouragement, reminding Elodie of her strength. "You are Elodie, you can do anything." The next morning, Elodie and Floria are joined by their family. As they gather, the elders engage in discussions while Henry, a member of the royal family, takes Elodie for a walk. During their conversation, Elodie opens up about her humble origins and her commitment to helping her people despite the harsh conditions of her homeland. After their talk, they enjoy a ride on horseback, soaking in the beauty of the surroundings. Meanwhile, Elodie's father emerges from a meeting looking visibly upset, but he remains tight-lipped about the details when questioned by his wife. Curious about the flame she observed the previous night, Elodie asks Henry about it. He reveals that it's an ancient ritual, first part of a 3-part ceremony. Henry explains the significance of the ceremony, emphasizing the importance of honoring their ancestors, which is why their wedding coincides with these days. He also shares his interest of traveling around the world. Meanwhile, Elodie's stepmother seeks to strengthen their family's bond by speaking with the queen. However, the queen is dismissive and blunt, reminding her of her father's humble occupation as a rope maker. The queen sees the marriage as a transactional arrangement, stating that you need money and our kingdom needs a bride, and they should accept it without sentimentality. Elodie's stepmother warns her of the dangers ahead before she is married off to Henry. Despite her warning, Elodie proceeds with the marriage. Following the wedding, they journey to the mountains for a sacred ceremony. The atmosphere is tense as everyone dons masks, concealing their identities. During the ceremony, the queen recounts the tragic tale of the first king and the dragon. In order to maintain peace in the kingdom, the king had to sacrifice his 3 daughters to the dragon. A pact was formed, obligating every generation to pay this debt to the dragon. As part of the ritual, Elodie and Henry's hands are cut, and their blood is mingled to symbolize their union. Elodie is declared royal. Henry insists to carry Elodie across the bridge but betrays her, throwing her into the dragon's lair from the bridge. As Elodie falls into the pit, she loses consciousness. When she opens her eyes, she is surrounded by old shoes and shiny jewelry. It dawns on her that she's not alone, she's been left here to be sacrificed. Overwhelmed by fear, Elodie's scream pierces through the silence, echoing off the walls of the pit. Little did she know, her cry would awaken the dragon. Despite her fear, Elodie her courage and starts moving forward. As Elodie looks around, she spots a lone bird lying injured on the ground. Filled with compassion, she approaches it gently, intending to help. However, as she bends down, her heart sinks at the sight of countless other birds flying overhead. Their feathers are burnt by the dragon's fiery breath. Suddenly, the dragon emerges from the shadows, its massive form casting a daunting shadow over Elodie. The dragon speaks of a debt that must be paid by every generation. Filled with panic, Elodie turns and runs as fast as her legs can carry her. She stumbles upon the lifeless body of the girl she saw on the balcony earlier, a grim reminder of the dragon's merciless wrath. As Elodie desperately tries to escape, the dragon spits fire directly at her. She screams in agony as the fiery inferno engulfs her, the intense heat scorching her skin. With a sharp pain shooting through her leg, she realizes with horror that she's been burnt by the dragon's fire. Remembering her mother's strength, Elodie lights a torch and bravely moves ahead. She soon encounters trouble and falls, causing the torch to go out. After waking up, she searches for a way out. Taking a bold leap of faith, she jumps to a large rock and starts climbing with her knife, determined to keep going. Along the way, she discovers glowworms, using them as a light source by placing them in her torn sleeves. Eventually, she finds a water pond, but the water is dirty. Spotting water dripping from above, she drinks it one drop at a time. But the dragon finds her. Elodie bolts in fear, but the dragon's fiery breath is close behind. It warns her to hide, but Elodie knows the grim fate that awaits those who do. Desperately seeking refuge, she discovers a spot beyond the dragon's reach. In her hiding place, she finds note on cave safe here, she cannot reach. Overwhelmed by fear and exhaustion, she begins to hallucinate, seeing the ghostly figures of those who met their demise before her. In this moment of despair, a glimmer of hope emerges as Elodie realizes the healing power of the glowworms she carries. With renewed determination, she embraces the resilience of those who came before her, finding strength in their memory. As Elodie explores further, she discovers a map that reveals a potential escape route. She recalls the path to freedom and sets out to follow it. Along the way, she encounters a crystal cave that leads upwards. As she ascends the crystalline walls, Elodie's heart races with each precarious step. Suddenly, she loses her footing and nearly plummets into the waiting jaws of the dragon. In a desperate bid for survival, she clings to a nearby crystal, managing to evade the dragon's grasp. Rising from the brink of disaster, Elodie continues her climb. As Elodie reaches what she believes to be the end of her journey to freedom, she is met with a grim realization. Instead of an escape route, she finds herself standing at a dead end, high above a sheer vertical drop on the mountainside, with nowhere left to turn. Desperate for help, Elodie spots people in the distance and calls out to them, her voice echoing through the mountains. But her hopes are dashed when the dragon appears once more. She rushes back into the mountain where the dragon cannot reach. The dragon declares that there is no way out, emphasizing the grim truth that 3 were given and 3 must be given. Elodie's father arrives to rescue her from the dragon's clutches. However, before he can reach her, the dragon captures him, demanding that he calls Elodie to come out of hiding. Refusing to betray his daughter, he stands firm, even as the dragon's fury escalates. In a horrifying turn of events, the dragon lashes out at Elodie's father, striking him with its razor-sharp talons. As he collapses in pain, Elodie's heart sinks with despair, fearing that all hope may be lost. Mistaking her father's companion's sound for Elodie, the dragon swiftly flies towards him. Elodie rushes to her father's side, who, in his final moments, he tells her to use ropes to flee from the dragon's wrath and asks for forgiveness for marrying her with tears in her eyes. She forgives him. He reveals that her sister and mother are waiting for her on a ship. Following her father's guidance, Elodie escapes and seeks refuge under a protective rock. Yet her respite is short-lived as the dragon's rage intensifies. The queen, realizing Elodie's escape, takes her little sister and fatally wounds her mother. As Elodie awakens, she realizes that she is finally free from the dragon's grasp. Elodie's stepmother intercepts her, revealing the queen's plan to sacrifice her sister to the dragon. Determined to save her, Elodie rushes to confront the queen and rescue her sister from certain doom. In rescue attempt, Elodie saves her sister from the clutches of the dragon. However, her triumph is short-lived as the dragon reveals its demand for 3 daughters from every generation, citing revenge for the loss of its own offspring. Despite Elodie's protests of not being of royal blood, the dragon claims to sense her lineage coursing through her veins. In a daring showdown, Elodie outwits the dragon, luring it into burning itself. Revealing the truth about the king and queen's deception, she exposes their scheme of sacrificing innocent daughters instead of their own princesses owed to the dragon. With a bold move, she places glowworms on the dragon to heal her. Returning to the kingdom, Elodie disrupts the 3rd sacrificial wedding intended for the dragon. She asks the bride to take her family and leave. As everything turns chaotic, the dragon breathes fire, burning those who were responsible. The dragon burns down their entire castle, completing her revenge. With her task accomplished, Elodie leaves with her mom and sister, with the dragon flying beside them, showing that their tough journey has come to an end.